Right, so this is going to be the first sort of HTML/CSS tutorial on my channel. It's going to be set out in a playlist. It's going to be the absolute basics of HTML and CSS. It's just going to kind of get you started, get an understanding of what it is, and then we'll move on to a bit more advanced. So if you want to look down the description, I'll have a link to the actual playlist that this is in. Hopefully it'll be about 6 videos or so, it won't be too long. It's just going to kind of get through the boring stuff straight away, get you an understanding, and then we'll sort of move on to actually creating proper sites. To me, the best way to learn is to do it rather than to watch it or listen to it or anything like that. So that's sort of what we'll do. But obviously at first you kind of, well, copy along, but at first you need to get an understanding of how it works. So the difference between the two, HTML and CSS, they work together. Obviously there's a few more languages involved in making a website, but they're the ones you need to know about for now. Ignore everything else. That's one of the bigger problems, I would say, when you're trying to learn. You'll sort of get taught things you don't need to know at the beginning. So if you kind of forget that, we've got the two languages. HTML is the content, CSS is the design. It's simple as that. You would write HTML, would put on sort of your paragraphs, anything you want to write on the site. And then if you want to change anything about the paragraph, say the font size, that's CSS. So they work together, they link through. Now for both of them, obviously being as basic as they are in terms of languages, you can pretty much use any text editor you want. You can use standard Notepad if you want. The one I would recommend is Notepad++. It's free and it's basically just a more advanced Notepad. So the first thing you want to do is just make sure you've got a new file open and you want to go to language and just make sure it's HTML. Obviously if you're in a different program it might be different, but pretty much all programs will have this. This is probably what you want to do straight away after. Just create yourself a new folder. So I'm just going to go on my desktop because I never have anything on my desktop. It's probably fully empty at the moment. So I'm just going to call it tutorial. And I'm going to save everything in there. So what we want to do is just save the file as index.html. So make sure the save type is HTML. And that there's your file. So as you can see, I've got my folder and it's in there. If you're not seeing this .html in the end, it doesn't really matter if you've already saved it as that. But you can enable it. Obviously, you should be seeing it by default if you're on Mac. If you're on Windows, you just want to come to folder options and go to view, and just make sure that hide extensions for known file types is unticked, and then that should be there and you should be able to edit it if you want. So the first thing we're going to cover is HTML. We're going to ignore CSS for now because obviously you can't have a website with HTML. You can have one without CSS, but it's not going to be very good. So how does it work? Basically it works using tags. So everything in the site is put between two HTML tags. So that's them there. Now inside of this you've got plenty of options. I mean, that is a website. If we want to save that and open that, that is a website. It's just blank. But that is one. So inside of your HTML tags, you can just imagine they're always going to be at the end. You don't really have anything outside of them ever. But inside of here, you can have some more tags. So the main one would be body. And again, you end it with the slash. So just make sure everything's inside of each other. I'm going to remove a bit of that spacing because it isn't really needed. So think of it sort of as a sandwich. Everything has to be inside of HTML. Now the body is the main content of the website. So if you wrote hello in here and snapped open your website, you would have a website that says hello. Obviously it's very basic, that's all it says, but you can change it. There's a lot more tags though that we are missing. That's sort of what I'm going to go through in the beginning. So inside of your HTML you'll always have a head tag, and again you can just end that. And inside of your head this is where a lot of stuff goes, but for now all you'll need to know is that this is where your site title is. So if we want to put the title as, let's think of something we're creating. Let's create a hosting website hosting. We don't have a name for it at the moment, so I'm just putting it as website hosting, and I'm going to end the title tag there. You may notice I've put them two on the same line. It doesn't matter. You can put them on different lines if you want to. It's just sort of habit that I would put the title on one line, because nothing other than the actual words there will ever go inside of title. So that doesn't really matter. But in terms of tags, that's your basic layout for a website. Now what the title does is it'll put the name in the tab. So see there, we've got website hosting. That's the title of the site. Now obviously there's more. In the head is where you would put your CSS, but again, I've said we're not touching that for now, so we're just going to leave it. We're going to go through a few of the basics on the body. Just basically explain some stuff. So obviously I wrote hello, that appears. Anything appears, but you want to have it in tags again, because if you're just putting it on standard content, you can't really style it. You've got to style the body, and that'll style everything in there. So some useful tags to begin with would be things like H1. This runs from H1 right through to H6, H1 being the biggest, H6 being the smallest. So if I wrote in here hello, if I had my caps right, and ended the H1 tag, and I'll just do a H3 just to show you. Wrote hello and end the H3, and let's do a H6 as well, again just to show you how it works, and end the H6. So those are all headings, that's what they stand for. That's how they work. H6 obviously the smallest. And another useful tag that you'll probably use a lot is the paragraph tag. This is what you'll pretty much put all your text in. So if I just said, hello, this is a website hosting company. Complete lie, obviously it isn't, because would you get a website hosted by someone who designs a website like this? Probably not. But if we save that there, that's what you're going to see. So we've got hello in H1, that's the biggest one, hello in H3, and then hello H6, which is even smaller than the standard paragraph text, so I don't really know why you'd ever use it, but it's there. And obviously in your CSS later you would be able to change the size of the HTML or the headers and stuff like that. So that's how that works, and you can, again, anything you want on your page needs to be inside of the body tag. So we kind of flew through that, to be honest. I don't really think I'll need to recap, obviously, because it's pretty simple. That's sort of the layout of how it works. So another useful thing that you'll use a lot is links. That is obviously how you would do your navigation bar. You would link things through to, say, a login system or anything like that if you just had a different page. Or you could even link to an external site. Now, the way you do that is use A tags. So this is where more of your sandwich stuff will come in. You do an A tag, and we'll just end our A tag there. But the A tag can't be standard, because obviously that's not going to link to anywhere. So what you need to do is do href and then equals, and then you just put in wherever you want to link it to. So if we had another page in the same folder, say called about, we could link to about.html, and then we could even put some text in the middle here. Let's put it as a H1, and this is the sandwich stuff sort of coming in. If we put in there about and then ended the H1, that would then, when we click about, link us to about.html. So let's open it up. You can see it's a link that says about. We'll click it, and obviously about isn't there, but if it was, that's where it would take you. You can do the same with external links. So say if we wanted to go to Google, that's how you would do it. And say we open it up, click there, and you're on Google. So that's how links work, and obviously you can put anything inside of these. Apart from another A tag, you can't put them inside of each other, obviously. But say if we even wanted to just do something like a paragraph, obviously it'll be a lot smaller. Open that up, and there you go. it'll do the same thing. It's going to take us to Google. So that's links, that's paragraphs, and that's headers. Hopefully that makes sense. I have flown through it all, but that's kind of what I want to do, just get that out of the way. If you need to go through it again, go through it again. But just stick with the tutorials and you'll be able to create a pretty decent site pretty quickly. It's, as I say, it's really not that much of a difficult language. It's just kind of time consuming in the first place when you're trying to learn it. But that's sort of an understanding anyway, so I hope to see you in my next video.